Let's shift focus to the other big story, and that is the controversy over the appointment of CBI Director Ranjit Sinha and the government not sharing information, saying it is not in national interest, despite the CIC saying information should be given to an RTI applicant. Now, why is the government not sharing information? It is being alleged that while the appointment took place in the previous government, Manmohan Singh was then the Prime Minister, Sushil Kumar Shinde was then the Home Minister, Sushma Swaraj, the current External Affairs Minister, as Leader of Opposition, was also a part of that committee that approved Ranjit Sinha's name. An RTI has been filed by a Railway Protection Force constable. He's seeking information as to why Ranjit Sinha was sent back to the Ministry of Home Affairs in 2011 when he was serving as Director General of the RPF. The RTI applicant believes that this was done because there were a series of allegations of alleged financial irregularities that surfaced during his tenure. However, this request for information hasn't been complied with by either Dr. Manmohan Singh's government or the current NDA government. The order sending Sinha back to the Home Ministry said he was to be put on compulsory wait. Less than 2 years later, he was appointed as the director of the CBI. The RTI applicant believes the Appointments Committee of the Cabinet, which elevated him, was aware of the allegations against Sinha, yet appointed him. The committee consisted of then Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, then Home Minister Sushil Kumar Shinde, and then Leader of Opposition and current External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj. The UPA government had turned down the RTI application against Ranjit Sinha's file information last year, saying it's not in national interest to share that information. The applicant then filed an appeal with the Central Information Commissioner Sushma Singh, who ordered that the information be released within 15 days. This order was passed on the 19th of May, shortly before Narendra Modi took oath as Prime Minister. The NDA government has yet to comply with the CIC order on releasing information about Ranjit Sinha's appointment.
Questions are being raised on the appointment of the CBI Director Ranjit Sinha. And on the issue, we have with us Ajay Majithia, the lawyer, who has filed a caveat in the Delhi High Court. Sir, thank you so much for sparing time with Headlines today. Apparently, the documents that we have very clearly say that the CIC has ordered on the disclosure of the information leading to the appointment of Mr. Ranjit Sinha, which is actually, he has been appointed by the Appointment Committee of the Cabinet, which is headed by the Prime Minister. Why do you think they are not disclosing information?
According to me, perhaps they are contemplating to challenge the action of CIC in the court of law, because the dictum of Delhi High Court is very clear that the exemption will not apply in this case because decision has already been taken by the cabinet. Decision has already been taken, and the public has a right to know. Under the circumstances, Mr. Ranjit Sinha was appointed as the Director CBI against the background that Mr. Ranjit Sinha was repatriated from the Railway RPF when he was the Director General. And at that point of time, there were rampant allegations of corruption and running of fake courts or fake RPF courts in Mumbai.
Sir, what we wanted to understand, what was the RTI? Why was it filed? What did it say?
No, look here, the RTI has sought a simple information. The RTI only seeks that RTI has given a brief description that Mr. Ranjit Sinha, as the Director General of RPF, had been repatriated and there were allegations of corruption. Thereafter, and there was also a recommendation of wait. Thereafter, he was appointed as Director CBI, which we all know is a very sensitive post, having far-reaching consequences. And under the Act has been enacted for the purposes of transparency, and accountability of public authority. The public today has a right to know why Ranjit Sinha was appointed way back in 2012. Either now the question is the CIC, being a quasi-judicial authority, has passed an order.
And joining me now for more on the story's headlines today is Ashish Maharshi. Ashish, why is it that the government is not sharing this information and claims it's not in national interest to divulge this information?
Well, difficult to understand, Gaurav. In fact, why it should be of national interest, it is beyond understanding. But this is the copy of the order that we have in our hand. And it is in fact, we have the entire file. On the day in 2013 when the RTI was filed, the appeal was rejected, and then finally the CIC order. Now, the CIC order very clearly says that the public authority, and in this case, the DOPT, should divulge the details of under the circumstances in which Ranjit Sinha was appointed as CBI director, despite he being repatriated in the year 2011 and put on compulsory wait. Now, surprisingly, whether it is the UPA government which denied to give information and NDA government, which is the current government, they took over the government on 26th of May 2014, and this order is of 19th May 2014. So they should have given the details by now, but surprisingly, no details being given, because as we know, Sushma Swaraj, who was the leader of opposition at that point of time, was a part of the collegium, and she had not given a dissent note on the appointment of Ranjit Sinha. So certainly big question, where the UPA and the NDA government both are, discomfortable. They both are uncomfortable as far as giving information on Ranjit Sinha.
The question very clearly remains why the Supreme Court had described the CBI as caged parrot, and is that very convenient for both the governments, whether UPA or NDA? Ashish, keep tracking that story. I will come back to you for more.